Shubha Sandhya. Good afternoon, good morning to people who are from different parts of the world. And today's talk is not homeopathic talk. It's not about remedies, but it is about the remedy within our own self, trying to find out the equilibrium in the family. In our day-to-day practice, because many of them are doctors, we try to find solution for others. And sitting on this hot seat, we advise so many people, so many things. But when it comes to our own, then it is a complete www.totalconfusion.com. We don't know exactly what is happening and what to do. दुनिया में सभी लोगों का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते करते खुद के प्रॉब्लम वही के वही रहे. Throughout our career, we have been dealing with patients and patients' problems and their family problem, because homeopath, believe me, is a family-oriented person. And what happens is, howsoever, wherever we are, in whatever field we are, in whatever career we are, whatever success we achieve, if the family is not in proper place, whatever achievements we get remains unsatisfactory. We all will have everything is okay, but what? But things at home is not okay. What is not okay? Either the spouse or the children or the in-laws. Only three triangles. The three angles of the triangle. One can still deal with the in-laws, no problem. One can still deal with the spouse, no problem. But if children are affected, then that is the biggest angle of problem as a parent that we have. What I've tried to analyze in my practice is also the same. People have problems with these three aspects, but I do not see them suffering so much with the two aspects of it, that is in-laws and spouse. But the problem, if the child is suffering and if the child is not at ease, then it is the biggest problem specifically for the mothers. Why I say for the mothers is simply because here on one side the child is not listening, and the other side the spouse blames the mother, poor thing, and on the third side is the in-laws who again keep on blaming. So ultimately it is the poor mother who takes the entire blunt of the entire story. And with the list that I have got today, many of them are in the adolescent phase of their age. And let us all remember, we have all gone through that age. What is very, very, very striking at that age is the hormonal changes. May it be male, may it be female. The most important aspect is the hormonal changes that child is going through. And therefore, it is what I call it as the internal change, the change within. On one side, it is the change within, and the other side, it is the demand of the change outside. And what is the change outside? That is the demanded thing. is the demand of the peer pressures, is the demand of the parents, is the demand of today's time of competition. So there are external factors that are actually influencing these internal changes that the individual is going through. And the child is struggling because the child is trying to cope up from the childhood to that of adolescent phase. Another important aspect, if you go to see, by the law of nature, what many of the parents also would tell us is this idea. Till 6th and 7th, he was okay, she was okay. God knows what has changed in her. Now she's started to answer back. Now she started to retaliate. Now she started to rebel. What is the change that has happened? The child is the same. It is this hormone that starts playing a role. It is this identity that every individual has, the I identity. Now that starts developing. Now that I wants to have a say. Until the age of 6th standard, 7th standard, till that age 11, 12, it was the parent who was advising. And the child's eye was a tender eye. So there was no much of a friction. But what happens later on after the age of 11, 12 is that this child now starts to develop one's own identity. And they try to push upon their thoughts and ideas that are attached to the identity. That I also have got my own thoughts. I also have got my own ideas. And that ideas I now start developing from where? From the surrounding. And if we are not ready to explore those ideas of my child, and we still remain adamant that the child should remain under the norms of what the parent says, then the retaliation begins. So somebody would retaliate to that particular idea, or somebody will simply succumb. One who succumbs will have a different set of mental problems. They will become introvert. They will not at all be interested in anything. Slowly, gradually, they will become lethargic. Niras, arasic. These are the set of patterns that you will start seeing in these type of people. Whereas the other set, where the I is still strong and wants to retaliate, will start arguing on anything and everything, whatever the parent says. And there is a big time friction. And if the parent body stays adamant, then this child, as a human being, which we all are social animal, this child will start seeking for somebody outside where they can be pampered, where the I is pampered, cared, loved, respected. And that is the time when the child will not understand whether it is good or bad. Because as long as the outside world says, wow, you have done fantastic. Wow, this is the way. You should definitely tell your father, tell your mother. What's wrong in it? And so the child starts liking those people, either one or a group. And they then start becoming rebel. And with this rebellion attitude, there are different set of problems over there. They might start telling lies at home to be with this company. They might start getting addicted to some various factors, drugs, alcohol, anything. And to meet that expenses, they might even start stealing. So these are the set of things that start developing in these type of people. And so the idea is, what is to be done? This is one. Those who are pre-adolescent, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, there are various other factors. We normally tend to, if you ever, those parents who have been dropping their children to school, and you see, once the child goes to the school, while coming back, they spend a lot of time gossiping. What is your child doing? What is my child doing? What is your husband doing? What is my husband doing? What is this? What is that? What I simply call it as, we are all good for panchayat. Indian mentality is neighbors envy, and keep envying throughout our life. And what reflects from there is, it reflects back on the child. What less have I done to you? See that one's child, how good he is, how obedient he is, how nice he is, how good marks he gets. What less did I do for you? By doing this, what are you trying to do? You're trying to simply crush the child's development on a mental, emotional, spiritual plane. We normally tend to, this is a human attitude, every human attitude, we normally tend to blame the others. Whatever happens, blame it on someone. That's the end of the story. And the best way of escapism is to blame it on somebody and leave it. I didn't do, he only told. I didn't do, he only advised me. And then where is your brains then? And if we go to see what happens in this type of development of the child, is the child develops from the very beginning. When he enters into a society, from a play school onwards, it begins with a lack of confidence. How many of us, when we are taking the child for some competition, our expectation is, you should come out first. Did we as a parent ever participate in a competition throughout our life? 7 out of 10 will say no. I remember when my daughter was in junior KG, I participated in vegetable carving class, the competition. The only male amongst all the female. Flower arranging competition, the only male amongst all the female. And the principal, she knew me, she said, "Doctor, you're the only one. Could you speak a few lines over there?" And both the events stood first. I took the daughter along on the stage. And what did I say? If a parent is not going to be the cover page of the book of the child, remember that book will never flourish. We are the cover page. What I mean by saying cover page means if I am doing, the child will see the parent doing, the child will develop that skill of doing, because the child learns through the special senses: the eyes that see, the ear that hear, the nose that smells, the tongue that tastes, and the skin that touches. For a small sapling also, we need to see to it that we are having proper care in terms of soil, water, and everything is concerned. Shouldn't it be true for a human being and a child for that matter? The idea is, what am I playing a role as a parent? Did I do the same at that age? Then comes the question, what should I do to rectify? What are the skills of rectifying them? So there are basically 2 to 3 step fold over here. Knowing where the issue is. The first and foremost is, I need to trace where the issue in my child is. What is happening with my child? There are some cases where the child doesn't have a taste at all to certain activities right from birth. And we miserably fail to realize that the child doesn't have a taste. And we simply try to force them because it is the parent's ego. सबके सामने मेरा बच्चा सब में perfect रहना चाहिए. In front of all the other parents, my child should be the best in everything. And how is it possible? No man is perfect in everything. So tracing what are the issues of my child, where is the weak point? And for this, the most important thing is the observation. Observe your child not as a parent, but observe a child as a separate human being. Remove that motherly or fatherly instinct out. Because why I say remove that motherly, fatherly instinct out is, when you have emotions attached, then your observation will be mere failure. So observe where the child is having a problem. The first and foremost. Once you trace where the problem is, then comes the question of attending to the problem. Can that problem be resolved? Can that problem have some solution? If the child has a problem and it can be solved, then comes what way? The idea there is sit down and talk, conversation. Conversation should happen in such a way that the child should be at the center and you should be passively playing a role. Second thing is that never point out at the mistake of the child. By pointing out the mistake of the child, you have big time caused a problem, because every individual has something called as willpower. That will stand like a wall and it will never open up. Most of us might find at times the child is very adamant. Yes or no? Nod. They are head bent on doing it. And we are helpless at that point of time. Why? Because something worse, if he does, then what will happen? Let him do this. We compromise, compromise, and compromise. But where have we failed to understand is that conversation that has never happened. And the conversation, what I say, the parent being passive means allow the child, first of all, to present where the problem is. Allow the child to present where the problem is, then ask the child, what do you think could be the solution? What do you think could be done for this? What are you doing by doing this? You are respecting the I individuality, you're respecting the ego that is developing of the child. The parent has given me a chance to speak. The parent has given me the chance to put forth my views. Because later I will be telling you about authoritative and authoritarian type of parenting. There's a difference between authoritarian type of parenting and authoritative parenting. One is where you lay the rules, and other is you allow the child to lay the rules for themselves. By simply saying, if you feel you don't want to do today, no issue. What about tomorrow? I have no issues. I have no problem. What will you tell your friends when you don't know this? What do you think you will tell? If you get less marks, what do you think you will tell your friends? Today or tomorrow you'll have to face them. They will definitely ask you. No, why I'm saying this is because suppose if you have an answer, I'll also answer the same thing along with you. So that I will not answer something different. So what you are doing by doing this, you are passive. You are making the child to have an answer to what the problem is. And you are indirectly making the child to think. By this, what happens is the awareness for the child automatically develops. You hammering the child and constantly telling, do, child will never do. Because it is the parent's awareness, it is not the child's awareness. The parent is aware that if he gets less mark, what will I tell my colleagues in my office? Oh my God, that's a big problem. Doctor's child, if you are not going to do well, what will I tell my other friends? All eyes are on me. People will ask me, how much did your son get? How much did your daughter get? So it is the parent's ego that is clashing, and the child will not do, because the child will think, what am I benefiting? My parent is asking me because they want to have a stand in their friend circle. So the focus shifts from the child's importance to the parent's importance. And when this focus shifts from the child's importance to the parent's importance, the child starts losing interest. Let it be whatever I do. What big deal? My mother, my father is only interested in their own world of where they are placed, where they are standing. So in other words, you are simply trying to curb the ego of the child. Where the child's ego need to be nurtured, where the child's ego need to be boosted, where the child's ego need to be rejuvenated, you are focusing on something completely different. Where am I placed as a parent? And another important thing I'll tell you, no parent wants to take a headache. They only want the child to be good, disciplined, good, getting good marks. डोक्याला ताप देऊ नको, व्यवस्थित अभ्यास कर, बस मला बाकी काय नको. Don't give me headache, do well, I don't want anything else. Are you don't want anything else, you only told do well. But have you ever seen in between the lines what is the child going through? You want simply the piece of cream of the cake. Because you want to be glorified for who you are, not for what the child is. In initial years, I had a big time problem. I'll tell you my own issues. I used to tell my daughter, go on the stage and enjoy, don't worry. I don't want you to come first or second or third, no problem. Go on the stage, enjoy your elocution. Go on the stage, enjoy your singing, no problem whatsoever. Stand the way you want to stand. And I'm watching other parents go properly, stand at the center of the stage. See, one day prior, go, how many steps are there? 11 steps. Exactly from the staircase, 11 steps, and you stand there only exact. How stiff and rigid you are making your child. More than the performance and more than enjoying, the child is rigid in how he stands, or how she stands, and where she stands, and how she presents. And the parent is like this till the child finishes. Like this, like this, like this. Oh God, oh God, oh God. What God will do? Because you have never ever tasted what it means to stand on a stage. You have made the child so stiff, so rigid. The first thing is the fear. What will my parents tell me if I do not do properly? That glow and that shine of performance, you have completely removed it out. The child has lost it even before the child can go on the stage. Instead of boosting the energy and making the child free from all competitive world and advising the child, believe in yourself, go and enjoy the moment. This moment will never ever come back to you. Do whatever you can do your best, no problem, forget the rest. And you see how beautiful the performance can be. But it is difficult for us, as what it is for finances. The Indian mentality is born with the passbook, die with the passbook. How much balance do I have? Every aspect we are rigid, every aspect. And this rigidity itself spoils the moment of now. Why? Because that expectation overrules the joy of moment of now. In this moment, what I need to enjoy, that I've lost. Where my target is, what is being expected out of me. And what is expected out of me is not what I'm enjoying, is what you are enjoying as a parent. It is your satisfaction for which I'm standing over here on the stage and performing. Because I never enjoyed this stiff, rigid way of standing over here. Kadakistri. On a competition day, you see that the cloth should be burning hot. And the ponytail ponies and this thing are so tightly that child is suffering with pain. But no, competition not today. Tight ponies. And the shoe polish is so much that even the white socks will have that shoe polish ka color. Overdoing because we are more anxious. And remember, the child observes the parent's anxiety. The child observes the parent's jitteriness that is happening. And imagine what will the effect on the child will be happening. The child will not tell you. Because at that age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they are completely dependable. So the voice doesn't raise. But their body language definitely shows. And they will innocently tell you, Mama, sorry, 4th line was wrong, so I had to repeat that. How many times I've told you? How many times we've done the revision? Why are you angry? The child has innocently told you that instead of saying, no problem, it's not the end of the road. But that certificate, that medal, that trophy that I have to show to my friends is important. Remember, avoid criticizing. Remember, avoid all sorts of confrontation where the parent uplifts their image more than the child. No, it can never happen. Come down to that level and first say, don't worry, it's not the end of the road. Because what is very important to infuse, to inflate, is this idea that I know you can do. I know you can perform. I have complete trust and faith. And even if there are failures, do not forget to give examples. Live examples. Look at that child. See how that baby is falling down again, getting up, no? But it will walk in one day. What do you think? Will it walk? Yes, Mama. Everybody has this. It really clicks to their idea that I have fallen doesn't mean it is the end of the road. Remember, this is very, very important. It might hurt you inside for a child not performing. Rub it out. That should be shown on the face, neither it should come out verbally. But the idea is nurturing and boosting their faith and belief in themselves. Because each one has got a potential. Now, another aspect of today's world, the gadgets, the Instagram, the WhatsApp, the this, the that, and from 5 minutes, Mama, to 15 minutes, Mama, from 15 minutes, Mama, to half an hour, Mama, we start inculcating that. How many of us will put dosa made today on Instagram? And the child sees. We start doing all these things. Remember, we are doing for a different cause. But the child looks at it from their perspective. And then they start developing interest because we are cultivating interest. In such situations, the idea should be what? What I have gone through in my childhood. During the vacation, my father would give 100 pages notebook. And he would say, do whatever you want to do, but write down over there what all you have done. Time to time, everything. Stood in the gallery, watched Time pass from this time to this time. Write down everything. Went to the washroom, write down. Went to have bath, write down. And he would take that book after 15 days and would calculate the number of hours. Utilized hours, wasted hours. And then he would ask me again, what do you think? This is the way how self-realization happens. But on the other hand, if we are doing it as a parent and we are telling the child not to do, the child will never ever learn. The child will not speak it out because the child is dependent. The child will start speaking it out when the child will start developing their own independent individuality. It's just a matter of time. They have gathered all the information from whatever has happened till so many years. And one day they will tell you, Dada, Mama, when you are doing, was it a work or was it fun? So for you, you can do it. I can't do it. Your doing is right doing. My doing is wrong doing. In what way am I wrong? And you have no answer. The only answer that you have got is your hand on the forehead and sit down like this. Because we slowly, gradually have got addicted to that particular thing. We don't realize. We think we have done. Mera to ho gaya. Doctor ban gaya, 15-20 saal ka practice ho gaya. I have done. I have been a doctor in my career. I have so many years of practice. I am doing my. What about you? And then the child will answer, you have also gone through my age only, na? That time you might be seeing TV. They have all the answers ready. Believe me, they have all the answers ready. But they store those answers till the time they have their individual identity for themselves. Up till the age of 12, you can shout at them, beat them once or twice. They quietly will surrender to you. Later on, they start retaliating. And believe me, nowadays children also know after 18 you cannot do anything to them. I've got a couple of cases who have told me after 18 they can't do by law. Oh my God. If they do anything, I can even file a case against them. Take that. Why? Because internet is there today. Everything is available. And they are more advanced than us in all the technologies. We might not know. Red button means to close, green button means to take the phone. That's all that we must be knowing probably. But they know everything, what side, where to go, what to do and everything. A small child will also know these days. So the idea to get aggressive is a wrong thing to do when we are dealing with the child's basic aggressive nature. So we now will deal with some of the common types of problems that children have, which we are unaware of. The first one is the clinical depression. The clinical depression is a mental health disorder which is characterized by persistently depressed mood. No, mama, let it be. I'll do no later on. Why are you pestering me so much? The idea here is loss of interest in activities. You will find some people, some children will have loss of interest in activities. which causes a significant impairment in their daily life. This is what is called as clinical depression, where you don't find symptoms as such, but what you can see is this major issue that they have got complete loss of interest in activities. Whatever, go and play, no mama, let it be. Call your friends, let's organize a small party somewhere. No mama, I am not interested, let it be. Nothing interests them. Here, when it really becomes grossly severe, attention needs to be paid. Sit down and talk. There is some problem. The idea here is could be hormonal issue. Could be something that has happened in school. Sometimes the teacher must have scolded in the class in front of everybody. And the child has been big time embarrassed. And the child is not able to tell you this and doesn't want to tell you this because you have never sat down with a child to talk. But it is such a bad impact that you will drastically see them being least interested in any of the activities. The second type is anxiety disorder.